This question is poised to be one of the boldest congressional moments in Washington's history. Press the like button and watch until the end, because a Republican senator directly questioned the FBI director about his own party's president, and the answer he received changed everything. 19 seconds ago, Louisiana Republican Senator John Kennedy asked Kash Patel a single question. Did President Trump order you to hide the Epstein files? Directly. There's no escape. And Patel's 47 seconds of silence, that heavy, fear-filled, hopeless silence, was a confession seen by all of America. Senate Judiciary Committee, February 5, 2026, 2:33 p.m. FBI surveillance session. Routine agenda, standard questions, predictable answers. Kash Patel arrived at 1347 with 5 lawyers. Black suit, red tie, the usual confident posture. But this time, there was something different. John Kennedy was in the hall. Kennedy, the legendary senator from Louisiana. He is known for his law degree from Oxford, 30 years of political experience, sharp intellect, and even sharper tongue. He's the type who knows the answers before you ask your questions. And that day, there were no files on his desk, no documents, just a notebook and a pen. The first 3 hours went normally. Democratic senators criticized, Republican senators defended, and Patel gave standard responses. Operational efficiency, national security, commitment to transparency. It was all memorized. He gave the floor to President Kennedy at 2:32 p.m. Kennedy slowly stood up. He adjusted his microphone. He looked at Patel, and he started talking. "Director Patel," Kennedy said, with his characteristic Louisiana accent, "I'm going to ask you a very simple question, and I want a very simple answer. Yes or no? Understood?" Patel shook his head, looking slightly uncomfortable. "Did President Donald Trump order you to hide the Epstein files?" The salon completely froze. Everyone held their breath. The cameras zoomed in. The journalists stopped writing and just watched, because this question changed everything. This wasn't a political attack from a Democrat. This was a big question coming from his own party, from Trump's own senator, and everyone knew John Kennedy doesn't talk empty words. If they're asking, they already know the answer. Patel's face changed in 3 seconds. Confusion, then calculation, then fear. "Senator," Patel said, balancing his voice, "President Trump discussed many issues with me. Yes or no, Superintendent?" Kennedy interjected, his voice calm but sharp. "Did President Trump order you to hide the Epstein files? Yes or no?" Patel's hands met on the table. He wanted to look at his lawyers, but his eyes remained fixed on Kennedy. "Senator, our conversations with the President..." "Director Patel," Kennedy said, raising his voice, "I'm asking you for the 3rd time. Yes or no? Silence! 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 20 seconds. The salon was buzzing, whispers, stirrings, but Kennedy waited. His eyes didn't leave Patel. 25 seconds, 30 seconds. Patel started speaking. "Senator, on this matter, the president's 35 seconds, 40 seconds. Patel couldn't find the words. He swallowed. Tears began to well up in your eyes. 45 seconds. "Director Patel," Kennedy said, his voice softening but becoming more dangerous, "your 45 seconds of silence is an answer. And the answer is yes, isn't it?" Patel's face completely paled. "Senator, No, Director," Kennedy raised his hand. "You already answered. You thought for 45 seconds because if you told the truth, you would expose the president. And if you lied, it would be a lie to Congress. And now you're saying nothing because both of them will be your end." The salon exploded. Democrats gave a standing ovation. Republicans were in shock. Their own senators were destroying the president of their own party. Kennedy continued, "Director Patel, I'm from Louisiana. We have a very simple saying there. If it looks like a dog, barks like a dog, and smells like a dog, it's a dog. Now let me tell you what I see." He opened his notebook. He looked at something for the first time. October 27th, 2025, 11:30 a.m. White House visitor log. Kash Patel entered the Oval Office. He met with President Trump for 47 minutes. Patel nodded silently. November 3rd, 2025, 2:47. 2.4 terabytes of Epstein files from the FBI's main servers have been permanently deleted. With your authorization code, is that right? Patel's face began to fade. Now, Director, Kennedy raised his head. I'm not a math professor, but I can do simple calculations. You met with Trump on October 27th. After 7 days, the files were deleted. Do you think this is a coincidence? Patel couldn't answer. Kennedy opened a second page in his notebook. November 4th, 2025. Official letter from the White House to the FBI. Subject, sensitive material management. Let me read this article to you. Oh, Patel's lawyers jumped to their feet. We object, Mr. President. Sit down, Kennedy said sharply. This was not hidden. It was publicly disclosed by the Ministry of Justice inspector yesterday. The lawyers sat down. They were shocked. Kennedy read, from the White House to the director of the FBI. The president is concerned about the potential political sensitivity of the Jeffrey Epstein files. The public disclosure of these materials could harm our national interests due to the naming of individuals who may include current and former government officials. The FBI must ensure these materials are properly classified. The living room was quiet. It was shrouded in deathly silence. Political sensitivity. Kennedy said, current and former government officials. Director Patel, when this information came to you, you understood what President Trump wanted, didn't you? Patel's hand started to tremble. Senator, this information is a general guideline. General? Kennedy's voice boomed. The Epstein files are specific. Political sensitivity is specific. Appropriate classification is specific. This isn't general, Director. This is an order. How? He opened the third page. November 9th, 2025. A call from the White House counsel. 14 minutes of talk time. Subject, status of Epstein files. What did you talk about, Director? Patel was silent. Let me tell you what you talked about, Kennedy said, because a whistleblower gave the transcript of that conversation to the inspector of the Ministry of Justice. Patel's face turned white. Kennedy read, White House counsel. Kash, the president is very clear. It would be good if those files couldn't be opened. There are too many names. Some are our friends, some are not, but they all cause problems. Your answer is, I understand. I'm handling it. The bomb exploded. The salon turned into complete chaos. The president is very clear. Kennedy's voice filled the entire hall. What if those files can't be opened? What is this if not a White House order, Director Patel? Patel was completely broken, or he was trembling, his face was covered in sweat, and he was having trouble breathing. Senator, in this context, there's no context, Kennedy shouted. The president has given you an order. He said to hide the Epstein files, and you hid it by breaking the law, by forcing FBI personnel, by hiding the truth from the American people. He opened the fourth page, and here's the most striking part. November 15th, 2025. President Trump's private attorney met with you at Mar-a-Lago. What did you talk about? Silence. Let me say it again, Kennedy said. FBI informant statement. Trump's lawyer told you the president is pleased, but some names still appear in the files, especially one is concerning. And you said, which name? The lawyer said, Trump. The salon exploded. Utter chaos. Democrats were on their feet, Republicans were in shock, and journalists were screaming. Kennedy waited. Silence was achieved. Director Patel, he said, his voice cold and hard, is President Trump's own name in the Epstein files? Patel couldn't say anything. He just sat there, frozen and devastated. Your answer is silence, Kennedy said again, and this silence tells us everything. He opened the fifth page. Epstein Witness Statement E-I-2009-234, dated June 12, 2009. The witness's name is confidential. With your permission, a section. Patel closed his eyes. I saw Donald Trump at Epstein's Manhattan residence several times in the spring of 2009. He was involved in real estate at that time. I saw him spending time with young women, around 18 to 20 years old. I didn't see anything inappropriate, but the closeness was uncomfortable. Kennedy raised his head. This statement was classified as permanent by you, Director Patel. National security grounds, none. The only reason Trump's name being mentioned, is that right? Not a single word came out of Patel's mouth. Let me read you something else, Kennedy said. He opened the 6th page, FBI Internal Memorandum, November 20th, 2025, from the classification team to you. Director Patel, your request to conceal 47 witness statements containing the name Trump is contrary to FBI protocols. Most of these statements are in the public interest, and there is no justification for classification. We express concern that this request stems from pressure from the White House. Kennedy looked at Patel. Your own team told you White House pressure. And what did you do? You dismissed that personnel, 14 people. They all resigned or were fired because they valued the law more than you did. He opened the 7th and final page, and here's the final blow, the report published yesterday by the Ministry of Justice inspector. Results section, the living room was completely silent. FBI Director Kash Patel systematically censored the Epstein files under the direct and indirect instructions of President Donald Trump. This action is a blatant White House obstruction of justice. Patel specifically targeted materials that mentioned the president's name and the names of other political allies. This violates both FBI regulations and their duties to Congress. Kennedy closed the book. Director Patel, he said, his voice lowering but every word audible, when I asked you the first question, you chose to remain silent for 45 seconds. But silence isn't enough anymore. Now everyone knows. He stopped. President Trump ordered you to hide the Epstein files so you can hide your own name. And you, as FBI director, chose to be loyal to the president rather than the American people. Kennedy looked at Patel one last time. I am a Republican. I supported Trump, but this is unacceptable. A president cannot use the FBI to protect their own name. He cannot manipulate the justice system. It cannot silence victims of sexual abuse. He stopped. You came here today and made a choice. You could have told the truth, but you remained silent. And this silence is career suicide. 1451, exactly 18 minutes. John Kennedy used 7 pages of notes. Each one cornered Patel a little more. Each one clarified Trump's connection a little more. The video went viral instantly. GOP Senator Kennedy exposes Trump-Patel Epstein cover-up trended every place, because this was no longer just a Democratic attack. A Republican was implying his own president. If you watched this video to the end, you saw that even party lines cannot overcome the truth. Don't forget to like and write in the comments what you think. Were you surprised that a Republican senator showed this courage? Within 2 hours, 5 more Republican senators supported Kennedy. They made statements that were more important than the real party. Within 6 hours, the White House spokesperson said the president gave no inappropriate instructions. But no one believed it. Within 12 hours, 3 FBI informants confirmed every word Kennedy read. Within 24 hours, Kash Patel resigned for family reasons. Official statement, spending time with family. The real reason. John Kennedy's 18 minutes. Washington Post front page, Republican Kennedy points, finger at Trump in Epstein cover-up. Patel's silence considered admission. New York Times analysis, Kennedy's courage is a rare example of principle within the GOP, loyalty to the law, not to the party. CNN comment, 45 seconds of silence could be one of the most striking confessions in modern political history. Even Fox News was surprised. Sean Hannity, I may not agree with Kennedy, but I respect him. He asked the question that needed to be asked. Don't forget to subscribe because this story isn't over yet. Trump's Epstein connection, 47 witness statements, and Washington's biggest scandal are coming to light. Trump's name is in the Epstein files. In the statements of 47 witnesses, John Kennedy asked, Patel couldn't answer, and 45 seconds of silence. It told all of America everything. 18 minutes, 7 pages, the courage of a Republican, the end of an FBI director, the revelation of a president. Sometimes the right question, when asked by the right person, can change everything. John Kennedy asked. Kash Patel fell silent. And the truth, something everyone knows now.